Alright, what's up? My name is Shannon Jackson, and my project is based off of how black men are portrayed in media and most specifically in hood movies. You know what I'm saying? I found this topic to be very interesting because I wanted to see if the way black men are portrayed in the media and in hood movies has an effect on black men here at Stetson University. So my goal is to test this theory and see if it is true. People have always shown an interest in gang life and hood areas and the media in particular through the production of the hood movies that took place from the late 80s to early 2000s. And within this time frame, a lot of movie producers wanted to show people around the U.S., you know what I'm saying, what black people went through, but it may have turned out to have a negative effect on this younger generation. You feel me? What was once made to deliver a message to one generation may have psychologically affected the younger. So with the popular movies like Menace to Society,
Being a black man in America isn't easy. All I'm saying is survive.
Boys in the Hood, and Juice, they all depict crime, drugs, broken families, and lack of education.
South Central Los Angeles, a place where drugs, crime, and violence rule the streets.
Why is it that there's a gun shop on almost every corner in this community?
Why?
For the same reason that there's a liquor store on almost every corner in the black community. Why? They want us to kill ourselves.
We got a problem here? We got a problem here?
Right before 11, get the loot, jet. I got a DJ Saturday night, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to miss that for nobody.
I hold on to the gun.
Why should he hold on to the gun?
Because I already got it. First time! You didn't have to shoot him, make a move.
I want to ask you boys some questions.
The media allows the audience to identify with the criminal in those movies. So I feel that, you know what I'm saying, what was once created to show the reality of what black people in America, you know what I'm saying, go through and struggle with, may have brainwashed some of us. These movies also feed into this negative stereotypes that black men face today, such as black on black crime, on how it's so high and how there are high welfare levels in the black communities and how the black man is just naturally violent. Well, I found some interesting facts to go against those statements or those stereotypes. On Atlanta Black Star, I found that through media, black on black crime is highly publicized as an issue. And it is an issue, you know what I'm saying, being that 93% of black deaths are caused by other black people. But that same percentage is just as high if applied to any other race. The media will highly publicize crime amongst black people a lot more versus crime of white people on white people, Hispanic on Hispanic, Asian on Asian, and et cetera, et cetera. Poverty and high welfare levels are highly depicted in black movies in the black communities, as only if it exists in the black communities, when in fact there's a 1% difference between black people and white people that receive welfare. Black men are always viewed as angry, animalistic human beings. Like, we're just violent all the time and just born criminals. Well, and the Crime and Delinquency Journal released a study to feed into the stereotype that black men are naturally violent. said that 50% of black men had at least one arrest by the age of 18. However, the conditions of the study was shady. An article for The Root by Dr. Ivory Toldson of Howard University stated the study used self-reported data on a group of black males that would not quite fill a gymnasium when direct data from court records are available, and that study lacked both racial and gender diversity. So,
Crazy, man. You know what? When you said that last time, I was kind of tripping, right? But now, you're right. I am crazy. But you know what else? I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about you. I don't give a fuck about Steele. And I don't give a fuck about Raheem either. I don't give a fuck about myself. Look, I ain't shit. I ain't never gonna be shit. And you less of a man than me, so as soon as I decide that you ain't gonna be shit, pow, so be it.
in one of my communication classes, we were studying one of Mathia Diawara's theories about black men in major films, and his theory pretty much was that black characters were primarily for the pleasure of white people, for white spectators. And by that, pretty much that if a major film had a black character in it, he was somewhat suited, you know what I'm saying, to make white people feel more comfortable, you know what I'm saying, rather he was a comedian or a whitewashed or Uncle Tom type character in the movie, just to give white people more comfortability when watching the film. Well, I feel like hood films did the opposite, because, you know what I'm saying, hood films are infamous because of the controversy surrounding the impact of the films on the audience. So when they opened in theaters across the country, controversy with both real world and theoretical significance for questions about the role of the reader, text, media, social context in shaping meaning. So with white people, these movies help feed into the moral panic that they already have about black people. And for black youth, it helps shape their identities in some form or fashion. I really feel like that these movies shape a lot of young black men's identity, because when you're young, you don't really have an identity. That's the part of being young, you know what I'm saying? You're growing, you're trying to figure out who you are, what you want to be, you know what I'm saying? You're trying to find yourself. So it's easy for you to adopt different, what they call, you know what I'm saying, phases, go through multiple phases trying to figure out, you know what I'm saying, who you truly are. And Stuart Hall once said, he would argue that identities are shaped through language and by media to an extension. George Meade once said that the self is something which has a development. It is not initially there at birth, but arises in the process of social experience and activity. The self continues to develop as a result of perceptions and interactions with others and the media. Quoting Rachel Bonaparte, she said, understanding the development of self will provide insight into how individuals, especially youth, gain a sense of identity and the overall self-perception. And Dr. Cheney said that, simply put, an individual who is inclined to identify with an organization, that person will be open to persuasive efforts from various sources within that unit. So with black people, specifically youth, is through media. That's like the main source of where our technology lies. Gerbner's cultivation theory from 1969 emphasizes the importance of regular media exposure, arguing that people who consume more media will gradually come to adopt beliefs and attitudes similar to the messages conveyed in the media. In a research study done by Nielsen Media, they found that African American youth watch similar amounts of TV during prime time and late night, both on weekdays and weekends. During the hours of 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., African American youth view at least 10% more television on weekends. So with all that being said, I want to go around and interview black men here at Stetson and see if, you know what I'm saying, this theory applies to them, you know what I'm saying, see if they have been affected by these movies, and if so, you know what I'm saying, how. And I got a number of questions that I'm going to ask. Alright, so pretty much what I want to find out with the interviews is, does the portrayal that black men face and the media have an effect on how we are treated here in Stetson? So the questions that I have are saying, do you feel like you're feared by others? Do you feel that you are judged here at Stetson? Have you been criminalized for something that you didn't do because of the color of your skin here at Stetson? If so, did you face harsher consequences than others? Do you think this is due to the fact of the negative portrayal that black men face in hood movies and media? And what was it like for you growing up? And growing up watching these movies, did they have an effect on your behavior in any way? And I feel like knowing how it was for them growing up will really be a good factor on how they shaped their identity. Because if you grew up in that type of environment, you're more likely to act like that because, you know what I'm saying, you grew up in the environment versus somebody who came from a middle class family, or, you know what I'm saying, a good home, and only acted in a negative behavior because of imitating what they've seen on TV and in these movies. They get a false sense of, oh, this is my culture, you know what I'm saying, this is how I'm supposed to behave. So I think that question right there is really the determining factor. All right, y'all state y'all names and y'all purpose.
Reggie Gatt, freshman.
I'm Derry Wright, and I'm a junior.
All right, first question. Do you feel like you're feared by others here at Stetson?
Yes, for sure.
Hell yeah.
Do you feel like you're judged here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you been criminalized for something that you didn't do because of the color of your skin?
No, I haven't, but however, I do feel like it's coming. It will happen.
I have twice.
All right. Have you faced harsher consequences than others?
Got off both times because I didn't do anything. Yeah.
Do you think this is due to the fact that the negative portrayal of black men in the media and hood movies?
I don't think that's the reason. I just think they're scared of black people that they don't know, at least, or black people that ain't whitewashed, I should say.
Yeah. What was it like for you growing up?
Oh, it was straight for me. It was crazy because I went for public school all the way up to, I went to a public school all the way up to my middle school, and then went to private school my whole high school career. So like, it was like a big shift, and it just showed me how the real white people act and how like the fake white people act.
Yeah, so I went public school all the way through, and then the high school I went to was like the second worst high school in my county. So the fact that you graduate from there is like a miracle. But coming here is just, you know, like, shit. My bad, I didn't mean to say that.
You straight.
Alright.
It's real shit.
Alright, so it's just like, you know what I'm saying? It's a culture shock. And then on top of that, like, you won't get accepted unless you change who you are to what folks are comfortable here. So,
growing up watching
hood movies like Juice, Minister Society, Boys in the Hood, did these movies have effect on your behavior in any way?
My behavior?
Or just the way you thought, you know what I'm saying, how you were supposed to act, at least make you think like, okay, this is a certain way I'm supposed to act, or this is who I am.
I mean, they really taught me, watching them movies that you just named, it taught you how to go get it. Because all them dudes in that movie was go-getters. Like, they was hustlers. They was going to get it by any means. I mean, I ain't say I'm shooting dudes and stuff like that, but they wouldn't got it. They showed you the hustler mentality, though.
Yeah, that all the movies, bro, including like Players Club. I don't want to name it because the list's too long. But yeah, you get conditioned by what you grow up watching. So it's like, if I see niggas with this mindset that, you know what I'm saying, ain't nothing gonna stop me, not the environment gonna stop me from getting what you want. Especially we got people like Furious Styles dropping wisdom on you and whatnot. So yeah, that shit played a huge role growing up.
Cam Adams, freshman.
Arky Brown, sophomore.
Drayon Long, I'm a senior.
DJ Tinsley, sophomore. JJ Henderson, freshman.
Bryce Black, freshman.
Nick Blakely, freshman.
All right. So the first question is, do you feel like you're feared by others here at Stetson?
Yes, without a doubt.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
No.
All right. Do you feel like you're judged here?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right. Have you been criminalized for something that you didn't do because of the color of your skin?
Yes.
Should have I been criminalized here for something I didn't do?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, not just, no.
Nah.
Yeah, DJ for that.
No.
All right. If so, have you faced harsher consequences than others?
No.
Not no harsher consequences, but I faced some.
Yeah, the rest of y'all said no, right?
Yeah.
All right. Do you think this is due to the negative portrayal of black men in the media and in the movies?
Yes.
Well, for them, yeah, that probably got something to do with why they was criminalized for the things they ain't do.
What about you?
I personally haven't done that. I answered no to the previous question.
Till you get pulled over.
I haven't criminalized, yeah. Yeah. No.
All right. What was it like for you growing up?
Hard.
You rather that's a little bit offensive. That's all. Well, I mean, I lived in a pretty well-off neighborhood, but around me, it wasn't the best environment. But my parents made sure that I kept my head on right, and my focus was on academics and football, so I stay out of the streets.
Mine's the same, but I grew up in a rough neighborhood, so I wasn't the statistics. I came out a product.
I see both sides of it. Like when I first was coming up, we was in a bad neighborhood, and we moved out of there and moved to a suburb neighborhood. So I done seen both sides of it.
Well, where I live, it was a pretty good neighborhood, but like I spent a lot of time at grandma's house, and it ain't as good over there. You feel me? So like, I mean, I had a chance to like get like influenced by others, like stuff like that, but I was like my parents made sure of that.
Well, yeah, parents were military, so I live in a military base, but where I played football at and all my friends were pretty bad areas, so I guess didn't let that affect me. So.
I grew up around a good area, so I haven't faced all that trouble yet.
I lived in both because my parents was divorced, so I've been to both sides. My dad used to live in apartments. My mom lived in the suburbs. So, I mean, I've seen both sides of it. But, I mean, I've always been treated good by people because of my personality.
Growing up watching hood movies like Juice, Boys in the Hood, Minister Society, did these movies have an effect on your behavior or just how you thought in any type of way?
Definitely had an influence on my thoughts. Like, just make sure you watch who around you. But I didn't really act on none of that because I was like, oh, that's a movie that ain't real life. But it kind of makes you think, like, you hear some of those stories, like, that actually happened in movies, but I didn't really have to, like, go through like that stuff that was going on in the movies.
It didn't affect my behavior, but it definitely like make you influence like how you want to do your life and stuff. Like when he's dying in the movie and shit like that. But you just want to be yourself and not do what they did.
It influenced my behavior, man. When we was kids, that was cool. We wanted to bump everybody, going
Shoot
out getting
niggas,
stuff. Not shooting folk. Did I say that? No. Folk was running up on stuff. You get a nice car because you stole it, all this stuff, folk. So we would, want to be. That was cool. That was glorified in movies. And then, eventually, we got some sense and realized, it didn't take that long to realize that wasn't what you need to be doing, but it still affected our young minds back in the day.
Like Dre said, it did. The movies definitely affected like how we thought about how we should behave, but I don't really think for myself at least it didn't really affect my behavior that much.
Yeah, I want to say my behavior, but thoughts. You don't want to do none of that stuff because some of the areas that they portrayed in the movies actually happen in that area in real life. So actually, yeah.
The movies are definitely relatable, but they never played a role in my actions.
It definitely turned me away from the life that it was living. It made me want to go on a straight path and be a good representative of the black community. So.
Alright, Eric Martin, Beast.
Do you feel like you're feared here at Stetson?
I don't feel feared, but I feel separated.
What do you mean by that?
Like separated as in I feel like I don't fit in the Stetson culture. So.
Do you feel like you're judged here?
Yeah, all the time.
Have you been criminalized for something that you didn't do because of the color of your skin here?
No, I can't think of a time I've been criminalized for something I didn't do because of the color of my skin, but I feel like there's times where I've been like the suspect of something I didn't do.
Do you think this is because of the negative portrayal of black man face in the media?
Yeah, I think a lot of things going on in this world because of the media and how we're portrayed through it.
What was it like for you growing up?
Growing up, I lived all over the place. I mean, in California, I did get a lot of questions, like just being out there. You have a lot of, when you're young, you get a lot of people that just ask questions, and they will ask questions like, "Oh, are you anything like that person from Friday, the movie, or something like that?" So it's like, "Oh, are you gonna do this because that's what he did in the movie?" So I've had those type of questions. But growing up, I would say in California, I didn't really think racism or like all that was real. So I moved here to Florida, and that's when I actually started experiencing more of it.
Growing up watching these movies, did they have effect on you in any type of way?
I wouldn't say they had an effect, as in growing up, of course, you might have thought it was cool or something like that, but I wouldn't say it affected the person I am.
Alright, so with all of that being said, to come to a conclusion, pretty much I feel like my theory was pretty close. Not necessarily that the movies have an effect on black men, but a lot of them have influences. More influence is more influential than effective. It influences a lot of black youth's thought process and the way they think about life, and a lot of them said it shaped them into who they are today. Young, successful, at least striving for success. Young black men. So that's pretty much it, man. This is my project. I just want to see black people strive and do better. You know what I'm saying? These hood movies, I embrace them. I love these hood movies as part of the culture. You know what I'm saying? It represents what a lot of us go through. You know what I'm saying? So I don't shame them. I love them, and I just don't want people to get, the wrong idea after watching it. You know what I'm saying? Not all black people are like that, and black people shouldn't think, okay, this is how I'm supposed to behave. You know what I'm saying? It's merely entertainment. That's all it is. So, yeah, man, that's it. Appreciate you, Nightboard.